Welcome back to Persephone Says. I'm excited to have my husband and co-founder of the Media Socialites, Eddie,
Hey,
back for the first time talking about business.
first time. Yeah.
You've been on multiple times, but we've always gone sad or personal or whatever. So
Yeah.
since we are coming into 2026, I thought it was a good time for us to just talk some business talk.
Finally, I exist.
I know. Well, no, you've existed. But I appreciate you putting on your nerdy glasses for a nerdy conversation.
They look good.
They do. So we're going to talk about just the things that people say to us, which like a lot of these things are completely unhinged, if we're being completely honest. And so that you can avoid some of these things and hopefully be thinking about, some of your 2026 strategy. So where do you want to start? What are some of the things that people say to you on the regs that you're like, why the hell?
Oh my God. I think the first thing that, and I say this because I think the term, because of TikTok, has become like a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people think that virality is a strategy. It's like, oh, if I go viral, I'm going to get more clients.
Mm-hmm.
And in some cases, like with like an e-commerce business, that could be true. Like,
Totally, with an e-commerce
yeah,
business, it can be.
it's like an influencer
Mhm.
wears
Mhm.
X that
Mhm.
that you produce. Like, yeah, that could go viral, make you a lot of money. That's
Mhm.
amazing. But I think in some of our clients' cases around, targeting very specific people, like,
Mhm.
I need a bride who can
Mhm.
spend X amount on their wedding, or I need somebody to host an event at my venue. That, virality is not going to get you that.
Yeah.
And I think that misconception leads people to really just wanting to see a million views on their
Mhm.
reel rather than actually getting in front of the person that's going to book said service or, buy said high ticket product.
Yeah. And it also ends up creating a lot of looky-loos. So there's a partner of ours who just worked with an influencer, and I would say that the content has gone pretty viral, but she's getting a lot of inquiries just to know how much the influencer spent on the
Ooh.
wedding, which is like not it, you guys. So, and what I will also say that no one really talks about, especially when it comes to weddings, when these weddings go viral, there's a lot of people who talk shit on
Sure.
those videos because of like being wasteful or whatever. Like, not that it matters,
Yeah.
everyone is entitled to whatever
Yeah.
they want to do
100%.
and to spend and whatever. But like, oftentimes virality equals like hate comments, and you kind of have to be prepared for that too.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the people who actually look at it, it's like 90% of the people are just there to see it.
Mhm.
And then 10% of the people are the ones that, could potentially be a client of yours.
Mhm.
And that I think people want to focus on that 90% rather than that 10% of people. And that's
Totally.
such a mistake.
Totally. I also just think that if virality is a strategy, you have no strategy. So let's like start there,
Yeah.
One of my biggest issues, I think we share this, is that people aren't tracking anything, period. And we have a lot of clients who are like, their businesses are substantial. They're
Yeah.
not, I wouldn't consider them small businesses at all.
No.
And they have no CRM, customer relationship management system. They haven't invested in the unsexy infrastructure to make sales happen. And to me, that's like, we got to like roll it on back.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think, coming from the software world, like obviously software companies, they know about every software and they try to implement all of those things. I think a nice PSA for anybody listening is like, Google Analytics is free. Google Search Console is free. There's so many free tools out there that like can just give you visibility. Let's not even talk about CRM. That's like probably more of an advanced move. It's like, just know who's coming to your website and where are they coming from. That stuff is free. And the amount of people that we engage with that are like, hey, do you have Google Analytics so we can look at it? Oh no, we don't have that. Or they're like, oh yeah, I have it. And then you open it up and it's like not implemented on their site. It's like, why? are you not wanting to understand that?
Well, for us at this point, we won't work with you if you don't have it. Period. Like if you don't have Google Analytics set up, we will not. We cannot, we will not, because here's what ends up happening. And I've said this a couple times on the podcast, that people aren't tracking because they aren't, looking or taking 5 minutes to understand Google Analytics. And then they're like, this isn't working. How the fuck do you know if it's not working or not?
Yeah.
You don't even know how to, you don't even have anything to say it is or it isn't. And so for those reasons, we're out. There was one client this year who was a venue who was like, this isn't working, but I don't have Google Analytics. And we're like, we're never fucking doing this again. We're never doing this again because you have no idea. And we can see the data, and they're just not choosing to implement something that every company, every single size should have at this point, this stage of the game, because those same people are the ones who are still investing in fucking, print ads in magazines. It's insane.
I would say that visibility or transparency is the most important thing. And
not just for if you're working with an agency or not, by the way.
Oh yeah.
For any business, period.
The one thing I love about working with Julian is that, and I can say that, right?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, he just wants to know everything.
All roads point back to Julian Lieber events.
Yeah. I mean, he is such a great business mind, obviously, but he truly understands marketing. And I think.
No, he's made it his business to understand.
Oh, what? Yes.
He's made it his business to understand where, he's a small business.
Yeah.
Okay. He's a small business still, technically, right?
Yeah.
But he has made it a priority to understand, and that distinguishes good from great.
Yeah.
It does.
And I think what is so impressive about him is that he's not afraid to want to understand the metrics. I think we have clients that come on board and we implement all these things, and then they don't want to understand, we do a reporting meeting and they're kind of just it's they're checking off the box of being on the call.
It's really weird actually for us.
It's you should want to understand these things, because I'm not wanting to just sit here for an hour for fun. I want to tell you hey, this is working. And then there's a lot of resistance to wanting to believe that it's that is the case. As an example, and you talk about this all the time. It's most of my leads are from word of mouth. And it's actually, when you look at the data, most of your leads are coming from organic Google or from social media. And it's not coming as a yes, they might say that they're coming from a venue referral, but ultimately they saw this ad, or they organically searched. It's not wanting to believe it and just say, oh, this venue, they sent it to us. It's okay, they might have said something, but, and I say this so many times to people, is the consumer journey is not linear.
Bingo.
They don't contact a venue and then they come to you and fill out a form and you're yep, it came from that venue.
I have $150,000 to spend on this venue. Bing.
Yeah.
It takes 8 touch points. We always talk about that, right? And so if you think because someone has said something about you that's enough, that's really ignorant. And frankly, those are the businesses that have been struggling the most. Yeah. And then they come to us looking for a silver bullet because they're I don't know what's happening. It's so crazy.
Yeah. Well, the silver bullet thing is a great topic, actually, because I think a lot of people come to us and they're I might not have a lot of events this year or next year. And they're what can we do? And we're okay, here are some things that you could do. One of them, okay, let's run ads. Let's do Google ads. Let's do Meta ads.
Let's fix your website.
But the expectation that is going to make you $1 billion next year is, one, unrealistic, and two, it's not just putting money behind ads. One, takes a lot of time, and two, isn't going to solve your problem.
Yeah. So I think one of the issues that I'll speak specifically to our space, which is weddings and events and hospitality and hotels, is that we've kind of been operating from a place of an overstated level of importance, that building a brand doesn't matter, when at the end of the day, all you have is brand, because you can run ads against your wedding planning company or your venue or whatever you are endlessly. But if there's been no brand equity built in to differentiate you from the person sitting to your left or to your right, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck? And so, and that is actually where I think, again, like our spaces keep running into issues, because they're looking at their competitors as a source of inspiration, which is like false and fraudulent. Like, you're you, one of one, and they want to be for everybody, and then they're like, I don't know what's going on. Like, it's like, we got to start from the very beginning. Hold on one second, please. Can you guys keep it down? We're recording. Thank you so much.
That's fine. They're just switching books.
Okay.
And we're back.
So yeah, that's like, it feels like they're always looking for either someone to blame or extreme levels of help, where it's like, we can't resuscitate a business that actually has been falling for 5 years in 1 year.
Yeah.
We're going to have to start from the beginning. Like, have you updated your website in 10 or 15 years? No?
Yeah.
Fuck. Like,
yeah. Definitely. I mean, there's a lot of things that you're saying. There's so many things in that
in that rant.
Yeah, I was going to say rant. That rant that is so big, you know. It's interesting because even like someone like Gary Vee, he just talks about content. When you listen to his podcast now, he talks a lot about like investment in creative, investment in content, are you storytelling? And all of those pieces don't say ads, they don't say Google, they don't say, you know, doing more on TikTok. He doesn't even think about platforms. And it's like, going back to the source, it's like, is your brand solid? If it's not, you should probably think about that first.
Are you talking to an audience?
Sure.
An audience, a couple audiences, or are you trying to talk to everybody? And I've spoken a little bit on this here this year, but something we've been doing this year specifically is we're working on refreshing our own brand. And we've become, I think over the past 16 months in particular, like super laser focused on who we're speaking to. We've tested out a lot of things, which I think testing out is important.
Yeah.
But like, we are the experts in the L word, luxury.
Yeah.
And a luxury audience. And that spans beyond, you know, the categories that I just mentioned here. But like, that is our focus. And so if it doesn't align with that, it's unlikely we're taking that client on at this point, because it's done us a disservice every time we have.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, you know, talking to your audience means so many different things. I think, you know, the website is a big deal. Like, we're doing a bunch of website projects right now, and those people haven't updated their websites in years. I'm talking like 5-10 years. Like, if you're not refreshing or doing something to your website yearly, you're probably behind. Like, but 10 years, you're basically a dinosaur. Like, and that matters to consumers, that like, outside of like what your social looks like and whatnot, your website ultimately is your first impression. So if you're not talking to the right person or the right audience through what you are saying on your website, and they're not likely to convert. And
social and digital too. We cannot discredit that.
Yes.
I think sometimes on here I focus less on just social media and more on the full like everything. Monty. Yeah, because in our experience, social is a given. Like, you must. It's like breathing. It's like eating. You know, so it's
like a baseline right now.
It is a baseline. It is a baseline. But also, because it's a baseline, you have to be excellent at multiple things as you're showing up. And so I was just had the pleasure of speaking on Glowcella recently again. And, you know, it's not that I don't care about social. That's like obvious. But if you are only focused on that, then you aren't being proactive. You're being incredibly reactive and in a very saturated market, like all of the markets that frankly anyone exists in at this point,
Yeah.
then how are you going to like give yourself a little bit of an edge? How are you going to be more proactive in your strategy, right?
Yeah,
I have a
definitely.
hair on
And
my mouth.
social is one thing. Yes. Are you going to get views? Are people going to see you? Are you going to get brand awareness? Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely. The reason why I think websites are the most important is just like ultimately they're going to convert on your website.
Mhm.
Like, yes, are you going to get a DM and people are going to be like, oh, yeah, I have 150K to spend on a wedding through a DM? Sure,
Mhm.
100%. It's going to happen.
Mhm.
But ultimately, 95% of everybody is going to go to your website. And if it doesn't say the right things, then you're kind of just like, you're just kind of floating out there, not doing anything
Mhm.
because your social can look incredible and it can have the greatest pictures and the most awesome copy. But when they come to your website and it
It's a
doesn't
trash
say
bag.
shit,
Yeah.
like they're not going to do anything. Like, and that's what you want them to do.
Right. Especially to the market that we're speaking to, who does tend to read bigger budgets, mean that there might be multiple different people paying for this or a different generation paying for
Yeah.
the event. Right. And so, social is maybe for the end consumer, but the website is for the end consumer and their parents.
Sure.
And I think that's neglected a lot,
Oh yeah, and
actually.
if I'm a parent about to spend $1 million on this wedding and your website looks like trash, how am I going to imagine my wedding looking?
Which is unfair, but fair at the same time.
Yeah, and
Right?
I'm not going to say that nobody's going to, if your website looks like trash, they're not going to book with you because your work obviously can be portrayed through social. I'm just saying the consumer journey is not linear, and
Hmm.
they're going to take every bit and piece of information to make a decision. And if part of it, if they're looking at two people whose socials look great, but their websites look completely different, one is good and one is bad, who do you think they're going to go with?
Hmm.
I mean, they might not, they might fill out the other person's form
Hmm.
and not yours because your website doesn't look good.
Right.
And it's unfortunate.
It happens all the time.
Totally.
It happens all the time. What would you say to someone who would say to you that AI is going to take over all of our jobs or AI can do all of our jobs?
Well, I mean, I think it depends on the industry. I'll say that.
No, no, I'm
One.
talking about marketing.
Oh, about marketing?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I think what ultimately matters now, and this is for everybody, this
Hmm.
isn't just for marketing, but it's the person who can leverage AI to be better at what they do or do more with less is going to be the one that wins or gets hired or keeps their job or whatever that
Hmm.
that goal is.
Hmm.
It's AI is can it be a programmer and create your website? Awesome, yeah,
Hmm.
but AI will not have creativity in the sense of the human has to intervene at that moment.
Hmm.
It's the creative part that AI is not going to do.
Hmm.
And that's where the human becomes valuable.
Hmm.
And so that's for an event planner or a floral designer
Hmm.
or, a marketer. It's like your creativity, what makes you human is what is going to differentiate you from AI.
Legitimately. And
Right.
I think this generation is so smart and so in tune with when something has been written by ChatGPT. And I think there's nothing more unappealing or that will make me trust, that will create mistrust immediately than if you can smell it out in a caption, on a website, like on anything, in an email. Oh my God, in an email.
Okay, here I'm gonna disagree with you on
Okay.
this point.
In our space. Sorry, go
I'm
ahead.
gonna say that I disagree with you
Okay.
because and it's coming from someone who uses AI literally probably every hour on the hour. Like there's not an hour that goes by that I don't use it.
Hmm.
I agree with you that in what we do, we can tell. It's funny how many even clients are like, this was written by AI, and we're like, no, actually, our copywriter wrote that,
Yeah.
and it's like people who don't use AI often are the ones who are the quickest to jump to say that's AI.
Mhm.
And that is a mistake on everybody, on all the ignorant people's part who
Mhm.
don't leverage AI often, because for 95% of the consumers out there, they're going to convert on that ad who, regardless of whether AI wrote it or not. Like,
Mhm.
and that,
I'm not talking about an ad. I'm talking
no,
about
I'm talking about in general. Like, I think you and I are a little bit jaded. I think a lot of the people, maybe even at our company, are
Mhm.
very jaded, and we're very cognizant of it. But like, people who come to us and say like that was written by AI, it's like it actually wasn't
Mhm.
though. And so, does that make you ignorant, or does that make,
No, no,
you know what I'm saying? It's like is there a mistrust? But I think that there's also a misconception of what's actually AI and what's not, and I think that's the dangerous part of people assuming that it is.
I know what you're saying, but my point is that Gen Z in particular, but I would even say like above that too, they feel like if it is written, so if a caption is written by AI,
Mm-hmm.
okay, or an email is written by AI, and I get that, and you've seen it,
Sure, I have. Yeah,
like, and you've seen it, and there's been no top edit, no
yeah, yeah,
change, that creates mistrust.
yeah.
So in our
Okay.
company, we don't allow, like, you can use AI to be creative, you can use AI for ideation, you can use AI as a starting point, but if you don't fucking edit that caption with a copywriter or with your own fingers, that is a problem,
Yeah.
because like real creativity is that polish and that
Sure. Yeah.
finesse, right? And so thank you to all of the people who think that that was an AI caption, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're not doing that polish on top, if you're not adding that human element back into
Yeah.
the the writing, I think that's a huge issue right now.
Yeah.
And and there's lots of companies who do that all day long. There's lots of big companies who are doing that all day long, who are also using high school students to, for their social strategy. But,
That's
neither here nor there,
yeah. I was literally gonna say that.
you know? So to me, that's problematic because you're like, what's going on? But it's like, you're not investing in the content, period, right? Like, you're not
Yeah.
investing in content, period. And content means a bunch of different things. I was saying to you that I think that one of the biggest issues that we're experiencing as a whole is hotels and hospitality companies not investing in great content.
Totally.
And it's flat, it's boring, there's no POV. And it's
Yeah.
like, you're a hotel, you're $1 billion company.
Yeah. And here's what I would say is that yes, a lot of it is generic,
Mhm.
but I think when a hotel or even insert industry here comes to us and says like, I'm different. And you're like, are you though? Because like your creative looks super generic. And like, I'm not saying creative like their work and like what they produce. I'm saying like what you're putting out there is like, if you want to be, a choice hotel, awesome. Like you're a volume based hotel, great.
Mhm.
But if you're wanting to be a luxury brand, but your content looks like a choice hotel,
Boop,
you're sending the wrong message.
boop.
And
Mhm.
that statement is applicable to any industry. It doesn't matter, hotels versus whatever else. It's like everybody, if you want to be different, but
Mhm.
don't say you're different and look like everybody else.
And that's that on that. No, it's a problem. It's a serious problem. I don't think I've talked about it too much on here. We do a lot of production content. So, yes, iPhone content, but actually, I think our best clients work with us with photo shoots, video shoots. That's really how I was able to help drive momentum for the company, because if I could help control the creative or influence the creative, then I could make sure that we had these pieces of content that would then, convert to X through ads and X on
Yeah.
social. And that was like really a different perspective, down to what, our clients were wearing, how they're positioned. Like, I love that shit. It really does make a difference.
Yeah.
It really does make a difference, because even if you're a law firm, we have a really wonderful law firm partner.
I was just thinking about that.
Yeah. Who have invested in content and creative, because otherwise they look like there are so many other law firms, period. Right? Like, there's so many of everything.
For them in particular, and the reason why they came into my head was because the first conversation that you had with them, the first thing that they said was like, produce content, but we want to be different. And in the lawyer's case, because they spend a lot of money on marketing, but the ones that spend a ton of money on marketing are the guys that are on the side of the bus, or they're on the billboard, or they're at the bus stop sign that's like right on the edge, and it's like super cheesy marketing, but those are ambulance chasers. Like, they want high volume, high, like,
they're often ambulance chasers.
Right. But the law firms that we work with are like, we want to be different. We want our content to resonate with
and
our
just
message,
stick.
But also to give off this genuine and authenticity that, like, what they perceive as marketing in law isn't, and that is what I think the storytelling aspect is really, really important for content in general. So I think the biggest thing is, like, invest in content.
Invest in your story. That's what we're basically asking, is you have to invest in your story, because, and I was saying this again on Glowcella last week, that, I started this podcast knowing that I had lots of stories that I wanted to share, knowing that marketing would be a piece of that.
Yeah.
But, the most successful episodes have not been about marketing at all. They've been about our story, our personal lives, great things that have happened, horrible things that have happened. Like, that creates depth and connection. And in the year 2025, moving 26, like, if you're not pulling back the layers, then you're missing the whole enchilada. You know, you're connecting with nobody.
Yeah.
And if your POV is nobody, it's going to continue to be like that. And there's going to be a resistance, like a downward trend resistance, because people are not going to know who the hell you are. There's a big hotel company that we're talking to right now, who we're talking about content and investing and building their brand, because they have a huge company. No one knows who the fuck they are.
Yeah, is wild.
Which is wild, yeah. And so we're having to reverse engineer, like, okay, what is the story, the why? Like, it is so important, because, again, like, you're going to be shooting blanks when it comes to paid ads if you don't have that, because it just goes over people's heads. There's not going to be a curiosity behind it. And I think part of the storytelling is the curiosity.
Sure. Yeah. I would agree.
So, any last nuggets you wanted to leave
Oh my God,
our
there's
audience
so many.
with? I know.
I feel like we could go on for days about this.
We could, but just pick one.
If I had to pick one, it's just like, know who you are and know your data. I think that's like the big takeaway.
Mic drop. Know who you are, storytell, know your data, get your Google Analytics right.
Yeah.
And if you need help, we're here to help you.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like, you could pay me $100. I just one script that goes on your code. I'm kidding. But what I mean is that it's that easy. It's like, don't let 10 minutes of time stop you from knowing something that could make you millions.
Yeah.
That's like a true statement.
It is a true statement, actually. Yeah. It is a true statement.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming back on.
Absolutely. I'm so happy to be here.
Maybe we can put your nerdy glasses to use once again in the next few months, and maybe kick off the year with some good building block marketing knowledge bombs.
Let's go.
Awesome. All right, guys. Till next time. See you soon. Bye.